Hey you guys, it's Erin, and today I'm going to talk about how I realized that I'm transgender. I receive a lot of questions basically, how do I know I'm X, Y, or Z? So I figured I would help you kind of figure out based on how I realized it, and I hope it helps. First off, it started the summer of 2012 when I went to my first ever gay pride. It sucked. It was so tiny and it was horrible. But I went with these two lesbians who are, well, one of them was really attractive and I was totally into her. I was at the time dating a guy, but after Pride, I kind of realized, not for me. So I broke up with him, and the whole that I went with lesbians was really irrelevant now that I think about it. But I realized that I was a lesbian. So I started acting more butch to kind of attract more lesbians and be like, hey, I'm part of the community. Come hit on me. I'm single. So I started acting and dressing more masculine. Well, the more androgynous I looked, the better I felt about myself. So around September ish, of 2012, I started questioning my gender because I started talking to some genderqueer people, one of my current exes, who identified as genderqueer at the time. So I was learning a lot more about gender and started questioning my own because I did feel a lot better the more androgynous I felt. Or the more androgynous I looked, rather. I went from I went from questioning to genderqueer because it's an umbrella term and I really didn't know what I was. I just knew that I wasn't a girl, essentially. I didn't know if I was a guy or what I was. So I just went with genderqueer. In about December, I believe, I went and identified as gender fluid because sometimes I did feel more feminine than other times, and sometimes I did feel more masculine. A lot of my clothes were still female clothes, so I would sometimes play up my female figure and my female features and just have a blast with it. And sometimes I would dress more quote unquote dykey. Dykey is a kind of funny word. Or more masculine, and I felt pretty good. So I went with gender fluid. After that, I decided I was agender because while I did enjoy dressing up as a girl and dressing up as a guy, I didn't really identify with either one. I didn't want to be a guy because at the time I associated that with having a penis, and I've never ever wanted a penis because they terrify me. Even though I've dated cisgender guys, they just terrify me. But I didn't feel like a girl either because it didn't seem right to me because the more androgynous I was, the better I felt. So I identified as agender, which is neither male nor female. And I identified as that from about January, I guess, until very recently, when I decided that I'm still pretty much agender in that I don't want to be a girl or a full male, but I'm FTM. I want to be a guy. I just don't want a penis. Which is fine. I can be indifferent towards my vagina and still be a guy. So that's kind of how I came to understand my gender identity. Going from the lesbian to androgynous. Not to say that every trans guy does that, because it's true. Plenty of guys know and feel it as a kid, but I didn't. I never knew about gender or anything as a kid or growing up, so I just never bothered questioning anything. I just went with what I knew from society. So once I started learning more about it, the more I understood about it, the more I felt comfortable with a different identity. So I really hope that helps some people. If you have any questions, go ahead and contact me. on my personal at tinkerbell-alphabet.tumblr.com. Or, you can go on my Skype, which is skyalphabet0913. I'm always open for questions or anything, so just let me know. Bye.